Hi there, Stan, the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, with another episode, thrilling episode of Shooting It Straight with Stan. Today's topic is a very unique one because we're in unique times. And I call it the Annuity Black Swan event. Now, what's the Black Swan event? And that might give away that I used to work on Wall Street for Dean Witter, Payne Weber, UBS, and Morgan Stanley, all fine firms. But when there was something that happened kind of strange, we called it a black swan. Black swan is something that you can't prepare for. You're not used to seeing a black swan, so when one shows up, it's a unique event. I don't know who came up with that, but it's a pretty interesting way to explain it. Now, at the time of this taping, the black swan event is Russia and Mr. Putin invading other countries. And the Black Swan event has created some things that we haven't seen in a long time in the annuity industry. And let me give you an example. I was talking to my CEO earlier this week, and we have never seen this happen. Well, if it's been it's been a while. We've seen annuity companies raise interest rates in preparation for the Fed saying they're going to raise interest rates, etc. We've seen those interest rates rise. But all of a sudden, once Putin invaded, now we're seeing companies scale that back, and they're actually decreasing interest rates. So in a less than 60-day time period, or let's just say 90-day time period, we've seen interest rates move up, and then we've seen interest rates go down after this invasion. That's a black swan event, and that is a very good example of not being able to predict this and not being able to time it, not being able to find the sweet spot to buy an annuity of any type. I always tell people you can't beat the annuity companies. They have the big buildings for a reason, especially with lifetime income. You're talking about the pricing being primarily based upon your life expectancy, or if it's joint life expectancies at the time you take the payments. Then also Tom Hegna calls them mortality credits. Same thing. It's based on your life expectancy, similar to Social Security. The older you are, the higher the payment, right? Nod your head. And actual interest rates play a secondary pricing role, and a very minor role. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to wait to buy when interest rates move. Well, you have to factor in the payments that you missed. And also, too, with a deferred type of lifetime income, deferring for the future, the longer you allow an annuity company to hold onto that money, the more they're going to enhance the payout. Bottom line is the annuity companies are sitting around the big marble table, and they're asking the same exact questions that's in your head. Should I buy it now? And they're pricing the products and the guarantees, whether you turn on income now or turn on income later, or if you're locking in a multi-year guarantee annuity fixed rate. They're thinking like that. Okay. And there's no sweet spot or arbitrage. And I know it's interesting because I came from the stock market world. We were always looking for what's called arbitrage. That little in arbitrage, I guess, in Southern speak, is finding the time to buy it. Or, it's a people used to do it with mutual funds a long time ago, before the global world. They used to buy mutual funds here based upon pricing overseas with international mutual funds, etc. That was an arbitrage type play. But there's no arbitrage with annuities. You either like the guarantees or you don't. The other thing that these black swan events do is they change what you think is going to happen. So before Putin invaded, and no one really knew if he was going to, and anyone who's rational right here going, really? You're going to do that? I mean, the repercussions are unbelievable, as he is finding out and we're finding out. And it's going to, it's going to hurt us as well as a country, from gas prices and food prices and all that stuff. But people were talking about the Fed increasing over the next couple of years 3 times, 4 times, 7 times. I heard as high as 8 times. All that's off the table, all of it. Now, could the Fed continue to raise interest rates, which, like I said, with lifetime income, it's a minor pricing part of the equation. But everything helps, right? And if he did raise it 4 or 3 or 7 or 8 times, that's great. But it's going to be hard for me to believe that they're going to do that, because this black swan event affects everybody. It affects the stock market. It affects food prices. It affects distribution. It affects, us coming out of COVID, looking for the bright sunshine, and all of a sudden there's no more bright sunshine, right? So, I guess the lesson for all of us here with these black swan events is, or in general with annuities and trying to price annuities and time annuities and quote annuities and make decision on annuities of all types. And remember, there's many types of annuities. It all comes down to what you're trying to do. I always ask two questions: what do you want the money to contractually do, and when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? Because you're buying a contract. But the decision has to always be based on that contractual guarantee. And does it make sense for you right now? Forget the black swan event, forget the Fed, forget the markets. It's about your situation. It's about what you're trying to do right now. I was on a phone call this morning with a gentleman, and when you set an appointment with us, you might get me, or you might get one of our other employees who's an annuity specialist, annuity strategist, as we call them. But he got me, and we're talking, about his situation, and his comment was, "Well, should I wait? Should I wait to buy this, or should I buy it now and turn on the income stream in May as I planned all along?" And as I have a saying, I have all these sayings because I'm from the South. I'm from North Carolina. We talk in cliches. I said, "Hey, there's no good answers, just bad sales pitches, right?" Everybody nod their head. Yeah. And then he goes, "Yeah, there's no good answers." I said, "If you like the contractual guarantee for the lifetime income stream for you and your wife that we just ran the quote on, and you ran the quote on my calculators the evening before, then implement it. It's about your lifestyle. It's about your life. Black swan event, they're always going to happen. And by the way, the interesting part here with this black swan event is it might create another one. And the other one is China. China, looking lovingly at Taiwan and wanting to, or the Asian countries on their radar, or whatever countries on their radar, to do similar things as what Mr. Putin is doing. Hopefully that won't happen, but it might, and it might be another black swan. Another black swan maybe is Bitcoin. I heard that they're trying to figure out how to regulate Bitcoin because Russia's using Bitcoin. That's a black swan event that we could have never predicted. The Bitcoin crypto blockchain people could never have predicted. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully China doesn't do the same thing as Russia, but it might happen. Now, the other part about the black swan events that drives me crazy is this is when the fraudsters and the hucksters and the sociopaths come out. And I'm not just talking about the annuity world. I'm talking about anywhere. You have the people that are putting up websites to give money to Ukraine, and it's fraudulent. I mean, that's horrific. Those people, not to get religious, but they should go straight to hell. Okay, straight to hell. Just straight in the line. Get in the front of the line if you're doing that. But I have a little disdain as well for my compatriots in the annuity industry that use these black swan events to scare the hell out of people. And then they're scaring them with, hey, you can come over here and we can get you this upfront bonus and you can get market upside with no downside. A lot of the fraudulent sales pitches are around indexed annuities, unfortunately. And we love indexed annuities. We use them as CD products and delivery systems for income riders, but they're not too good to be true. And they're not where you need to go because of a black swan event. You don't need to buy an index annuity because Russia invaded Ukraine. You don't need to buy an index annuity because Bitcoin is being looked at by the United States government. You don't need to buy an index annuity, or any annuity for that matter, because China might be doing the same thing as Russia and invading and taking over things. Fear and greed always sell, but please don't allow that to happen to you. Black swan events do happen. They're going to happen. It seems like they're happening a lot. Hey, COVID was a black swan event, right? And one of the worst black swan events of all time, and it's continuing. But when it comes to annuities and the purchasing of annuities, you own them for what they will do, not what they might do. And the will do is the contractual guarantees of that policy. You make the decision on the contractual guarantees of that policy. You choose companies that are strong, that can back up the claims. That's something that we can talk about and you can choose. But at the end of the day, you cannot put your retirement plans on hold for a black swan event. You cannot go to the bad chicken dinner or expensive steak dinner seminar and be scared into signing paperwork to lock your money up long term for this mythical upfront bonus when you and I both know there's only 100 pennies in the dollar. You can't fall for that. Are we going to get through the black swan events? Absolutely. We're the United States of America, not to pound the table here and get patriotic, but that's what we do. We get through it. But for all of you that are looking at retirement, considering retirement, in retirement, and you need contractual guarantees, put the blinders on. Watch the news, get informed, but put the blinders on and base your decision on those contractual guarantees. Whether it's a black swan event or not, if the contractual guarantees make sense for you, then put them in place, period. Because it's about you. It's about your lifestyle. And just remember, do not let a black swan event affect all of this hard work and planning that you've done over these decades. It's about you. It's about your family. It's about your spouse. It's about your lifestyle. It's about checking those boxes in the chapter 2 of your life. I appreciate you joining me. I'll see you on the next Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'm Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent.